figured I'd show you how I get these little clamps off. Now, well, little hoses off. I use my pliers, my vice grips to get the clamp off. But I've got this little pick here. What I do is you want to make sure you don't stab into the hose, but you just kind of get it in here under it. Like I said, make sure you get under it and not in it. Just keeps trying to stick in it. There we go. And then I just work it. I can't. The sun's so bright out here, I can't tell what y'all are looking at. Let's see. Just try to work it all the way around the clamp, or around the hose, to break the seal. Once you get that done, take a screwdriver, just gonna work it like that, and then grab the hose, twist it. Pull it off. Alright, now all we've got left is all the water pump bolts. So I'm going to take my air wrench and zap all these off real quick, and we'll pull the water pump off. And it's off. So let's go take a look. I don't think it's the gaskets. It could be, but it was wet right under, and you can see where, if you look, to me it looks like the oil buildup is washed away right under the water pump. And if it was the gaskets, normally they would leak straight down. Like I said, I had a 2000 GMC 3/4 ton pickup with 6.0, and the water pump gaskets actually started leaking on it, and I pulled it off. I thought it was a water pump, and the more I looked at it, the more I realized it was just coming out of the gaskets. And I just pulled the water pump off. It only had like 100,000 miles on it, and I pulled the water pump off and put 2 new gaskets on it. So I don't think this is the case though. Like I said, it's washed away right here. Let's go take a look at the water pump itself. So here it is, sitting here. So let's take a look. There's the weep hole, and it was wet right in here and towards, see, this side over here is pretty dry. Of course, yeah, it's hard to tell because it's, let me turn y'all's light on. Alright, now we got some light. I'm going to say it looks like it's been leaking there. Like I said, it's hard to tell because we've got coolant all over everything right now. But to me, it looks like it's been leaking. It's just, you know, you can look over there, it's dry. Over there, it's kind of wet, but it's really wet right there. And so I feel like we have a failed water pump. Now, I think they changed up the thermostat housings at some point, and so we'll have to see if this is, I've replaced the thermostat in this thing. We'll have to see if we can reuse our thermostat. I think they went, this is a thermostat that has a built-in housing. I think some of the aftermarkets have an actual thermostat housing with a a separate thermostat, so we'll have to see. What I'll do is take this, well, first I'll look and see if there's any notation on whether you need a housing and another thermostat, but I'm going to need a thermostat gasket anyway. So I'll take my thermostat off and take it down to the parts store with me when I go to pick up a water pump, and I'll make sure that this thermostat fits the new water pump. So yeah, it lasted right at 200,000 miles, and the rubber parts of the gasket stayed, but the gaskets still look like they were okay. I don't think they were leaking. We had a failed water pump. So let's go get some let's go get a water pump, and we'll make sure it comes with new gaskets. We'll figure out on the thermostat. We're also going to need some more dexcool, and yes, I still run dexcool. I've had no issues with it. I think a lot of the issues they had were people mixing dexcool or just never changing it. And you know, I've like when I did the thermostat housing, I went ahead and put new dexcool in it when I did that, and it's going to get new dexcool now. So you know, I make sure it gets changed. Now I'm not flushing it, but it's pretty much empty of all coolant because I've got all the radiator hoses undone, and we've lost most of it, I'd say. But probably 40,000 miles ago I changed the thermostat out, and so it had a partial change then as well. So let's load this thing up and go get a new one. Alright, I got all my parts in here. Ended up getting a CarQuest water pump. Not crazy about it, but I could not get a OEM one local, and used a coupon. Got 30% off on this one. Got it for about 80 bucks. It's brand new, not remanufactured. So hopefully it'll last. I doubt it's going to last 200,000 like the original. It's made in China, but it's about the best I could get local today. So I had bought it online, or bought it online with the coupon, and it actually came with a water pump gasket. I bought one, or a water thermostat gasket, but it actually came with one, and it was too soon to return it, so I will have to return that later. I guess on the online orders there's a certain amount of time before it can be returned. It came with fiber gaskets instead of the O-ring gaskets. I guess that's fine. So we're going to dump all these gaskets out. There's some notation on which gasket to use on your thermostat housing. Mine takes the O-ring, and so we will replace the O-ring gasket on our thermostat housing. Pull that one off, put the new one on, and go ahead and bolt this up to the water pump, and then we'll stick this water pump on. Just like that. Alright, we got the surface all cleaned up. Gasket surface. It's ready to put the gaskets and the bolts on the water pump and slide it into place. Okay, water pump is bolted on. I went ahead and put a little bit of silicone on the bolt threads. I don't think they go into water jacket on here, but it's not a bad idea to do it anyway. And now we just need to go ahead and hook up these two radiator hoses, or heater hoses, those right there. Go ahead and put the lower radiator hose on, and then we'll be ready to go ahead and put the fan back on. Fan shroud on, radiator hoses connected, and we'll push pins in and bolts tightened. Now we just need to put the intake tube on and fill it with coolant and the cover over there. Alright, we are done. I topped it off with new coolant and distilled water, and we got a little extra in there, but it should open up. I'm going to let it sit here and idle and warm up and make sure it's got enough coolant in it. And I'll take a look over it real good once it's warmed up, make sure there's no leaks. But we should be in good shape. Belt's riding good. And everything looks well. So let me look over it, make sure we got no leaks, and we're good to go. And sorry for the lack of lighting in this in the reassembly video. It started raining, so I pushed the Suburban in the shop. I was working on it outside just because you get a lot more light outside. Once I push it inside, I grabbed the drop light to use it, and we lost power. And we haven't had power. I powered that little drop light off of my jump pack that has a built-in inverter. So I powered a little drop light off of it and used that for the reassembly. So sorry for the lack of lighting. Nothing I can do about it. So thanks for watching.